When the power goes out, your smartphone becomes a paperweight, your microwave becomes decoration, and your neighbors become competitors for the last flashlight batteries at the store. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal 10 everyday items sitting in your home right now that transform from ordinary objects into survival gold the moment the grid goes down. More importantly, I'll explain why lending these items out during a crisis could be the difference between your family's safety and disaster. Welcome to Crisis Horizon, where we prepare you for when the world stops working as expected. If this kind of practical survival knowledge interests you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that could genuinely save your life. The first thing everyone scrambles for during a blackout is light. But here's what most people don't realize. Darkness isn't just an inconvenience, it's a genuine threat. Without reliable illumination, simple tasks become hazardous. Cooking, repairing equipment, or even moving around your home safely becomes nearly impossible. This is where a solar-powered lantern becomes absolutely critical. Unlike candles that burn out or flashlights that drain batteries, solar lanterns recharge with daylight and provide consistent light night after night. This reliability is crucial for maintaining safety and basic functionality in your living space. But there's something even more important than the practical benefits, the psychological impact. Light does more than just illuminate your surroundings. In pitch black conditions, fear and panic can escalate quickly, especially among children and elderly family members. A steady glow helps maintain morale and prevents poor decisions driven by stress and fear. After a collapse, reliable light sources literally become currency. A solar lantern can be traded for food, medicine, or tools. But lending one out isn't just losing a light, it's losing leverage in the survival economy that emerges when normal commerce breaks down. Now let's talk about fire. Ordinary matches fail in wind and rain, leaving you helpless when you need heat most. All-weather storm matches are engineered specifically for survival situations. They burn hotter, longer, and stronger than regular matches. And here's the key, they'll still light even after being completely submerged in water. Fire serves multiple critical functions in a grid-down scenario. It's essential for boiling water to make it safe to drink, cooking food when your electric or gas stove stops working, drying wet clothes to prevent hypothermia, and even deterring both human and animal threats. Storm matches guarantee you can create fire when you absolutely need it most. These matches are also valuable for stealth reasons. They're quiet when you use them and leave little trace afterward, unlike trying to start a fire with other methods that might create noise or obvious signs of your presence. In a collapsed economy, storm matches become a form of currency, easily traded for food, batteries, or medicine. But here's the harsh reality. Nobody returns fire-starting materials. Once you lend out matches, consider them gone forever. When digital devices die and your smartphone clock becomes useless, a wind-up alarm clock transforms into a critical survival tool. It doesn't rely on batteries, solar panels, or electricity. Just a simple twist of the winding mechanism keeps it ticking accurately for days. Precise timekeeping becomes essential for numerous survival tasks. You need it for properly boiling water to purify it, timing medication doses correctly, coordinating meetups with other survivors, and most critically, managing sleep schedules and guard rotations. In a collapse situation, sleep can be dangerous if you don't wake up at planned intervals. Mechanical wind-up clocks are also EMP-proof and weatherproof, requiring virtually no maintenance while remaining functional for years. In a blackout scenario, accurate timekeeping becomes rare and highly valuable, potentially making you indispensable to other survivors. However, once you lend out a clock, it's unlikely to return. In chaotic situations, those who control time maintain a strategic advantage they won't willingly give up. Now let's talk about water and food security. Let's start with water access. When taps run dry, panic sets in fast. A manual water pump gives you reliable access to groundwater without depending on electricity, batteries, or any electronic components. It operates purely on muscle power, making it completely grid independent. A working pump means consistent water for drinking, cooking, cleaning, and even small-scale food production through gardening. It elevates your situation from merely scraping by to actually sustaining yourself and your family long-term. But here's why it's so dangerous to lend it out. In a blackout, water literally equals power and control. Desperation changes people fundamentally. Someone who borrows your manual pump might decide that their family's survival is more important than returning it to you. Once borrowed, you may never see it again, leaving you dependent on others for the most basic human need. Even when tap water is still running after a power outage, it often becomes unsafe to drink. Water treatment facilities require electricity to function properly, meaning contamination becomes a serious risk. A portable water filter provides safe drinking water instantly, removing dangerous parasites and bacteria from almost any water source you can find. Filters also save precious time and fuel compared to boiling water, keeping you mobile and efficient when every resource counts. There's also a stealth factor. Filtering water leaves no trace, unlike boiling, which creates visible smoke and detectable smells that might attract unwanted attention to your location. In a blackout scenario, clean water becomes as valuable as gold in trading situations. But once you lend out a filter, it's extremely unlikely to return, especially if someone's family member gets sick from contaminated water. They'll keep whatever tool prevented that tragedy. Now for food preparation. Most people overlook cookware until the power actually goes out. Suddenly, non-stick pans become useless decorations, but a heavy-duty cast iron skillet becomes absolutely indispensable. It works over campfires, wood stoves, solar ovens, or even placed directly on hot coals. The ability of cast iron to retain heat efficiently means you use significantly less fuel for cooking, which is a critical advantage when fuel sources become scarce or expensive. A well-maintained cast iron skillet can literally last for generations. In a post-collapse world where you can't just order a replacement online, this durability becomes priceless. Beyond cooking, a cast iron skillet can serve as an improvised weapon for protection, and in a survival economy, it's worth its weight in food, medicine, or fuel in trading situations. But trade it only if you're absolutely ready to lose it forever, because people tend to cling tightly to anything that helps them prepare meals. An insulated survival flask might seem like just a convenience item, but it's actually about resource control and stealth. Without power, refrigeration disappears and fuel becomes precious. A good flask keeps liquids hot or cold for many hours, saving you fuel and effort that you can't afford to waste. In winter conditions, hot water can help stabilize your core body temperature and prevent hypothermia. In summer heat, cold water prevents dangerous dehydration. A flask also allows you to keep liquids at optimal temperatures without lighting fires or creating cooking smells that might attract unwanted attention to your location. Stainless steel flasks withstand significant abuse and can last for many years with minimal care. In crisis situations, they become especially valuable for families caring for infants or elderly members who have specific temperature needs for their food and drinks. But once you lend out a flask, it's unlikely to return. In desperate times, people keep whatever makes their survival situation easier to manage. Now let's discuss communication and staying functional when everything else fails. A hand crank radio becomes your vital link to the outside world when the power grid goes down. It powers itself through manual cranking, providing access to emergency broadcasts, weather alerts, and community updates that could save your life. Information truly becomes power in survival situations. Knowing what's happening in your area allows you to prepare for incoming threats, avoid dangerous zones, and make informed decisions about whether to stay put or relocate. Weather information becomes critical when you don't have heated or air-conditioned shelter. Hand crank radios don't need batteries or grid power and can function reliably for years with basic maintenance. In a blackout, working radios become rare and highly valuable items. But here's the problem with lending. Once someone becomes dependent on your radio for critical information, you'll likely never get it back. Information equals control, and people don't voluntarily give up control during survival situations. Extension cords are completely overlooked until the grid fails. After a collapse, power comes from generators, car batteries, or solar panels, which are rarely located exactly where you need the electricity. Heavy-duty extension cords let you keep noisy, potentially dangerous equipment away from your living space while still powering essential devices safely. These cords allow you to maximize limited power windows by charging multiple devices in sequence efficiently. They also enable discrete power routing, helping keep your power setup hidden from people who might want to take advantage of your resources.
Extension cords become valuable trade items, and even damaged cords can be stripped for copper wire or repurposed for various repairs. Without proper cords, every single watt of energy becomes harder to use effectively and easier to lose through inefficient setups. This inefficiency could be the difference between keeping essential devices charged or losing power completely. A multi-tool knife combines essential tools: knife, pliers, screwdrivers, can opener, file, and saw into one compact device that fits in your pocket. It solves problems quickly and safely, from opening canned food to repairing critical equipment. In crisis situations where mobility might become necessary, a multi-tool replaces an entire bulky toolbox. Quality multi-tools last for decades with proper care and become highly valuable in trading situations, but they're simply too too useful for people to return once borrowed. The person who carries a multi-tool becomes the problem solver in any group, giving them significant value and status. Here's the harsh reality that many people don't want to face. When the lights go out and normal society breaks down, lending out your essential survival items doesn't make you generous. It makes you vulnerable. Survival isn't about expensive gadgets or fancy gear. It's about simple, everyday items that suddenly become priceless when you can't just replace them at the store. In genuine crisis situations, those who hold on to their essential tools maintain control over their situation. Those who give away their resources end up dependent on the goodwill of others, which is an extremely dangerous position when everyone is struggling to survive. The psychology of desperation changes people fundamentally. Someone who seems trustworthy and friendly during normal times might make very different decisions when their family's survival is at stake. Once they have your essential equipment, returning it might mean putting their own family at risk, which creates a moral conflict most people resolve by simply keeping what they borrowed. Preparedness isn't paranoia, it's intelligent protection. By understanding the true value of these everyday items and keeping them secure, you ensure that when disaster strikes, you and your family have the resources necessary to stay safe, healthy, and in control of your situation. Don't wait until it's too late to think about these things. Take inventory of your essential items right now, make sure they're in good working condition, and develop a mindset that protects your survival investments. Your family's safety might depend on having these tools available when everything else fails. If you found this information valuable, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Crisis Horizon for more practical survival knowledge that could genuinely make the difference when normal systems break down. Stay prepared, stay safe, and remember, in crisis situations, the prepared protect their own first.